Welcome to myGSPN Live. You're here with Robert Brown.
And Jose Rodriguez.
As always, the show is brought to you by GardenGrocer.com. Go online and place your order. We'd like to start our show off with the top 15 Central Florida rankings for softball today. Number one is Oakleaf at 22-2. They've won 14 straight games and they've moved up into our top spot from number 3.
Wow, that's crazy. 14 games in a row. That's pro level, and we're talking about high school right now, so it's really incredible.
Yeah, they're playing fantastic softball. And Bartow at 22-3, they're number 2 on our list.
Yeah.
They're playing just as well. Oakleaf is on a larger winning streak, so we wanted to give them, a little recognition for that. But
no, and they deserve it. Not the recognition, but if you win 14 games in a row and you're 22-2, and they even have a better record than Bartow, I think they deserve to be the number 1 spot.
And Bartow's won 7 of their last 8. They were number 1 in our previous rankings, and they'll stay, in my opinion, right there battling for that 1-2 as long as Oakleaf keeps playing out of their minds the way
Of course, and if they won 14 games straight, I think the sky's the limit for that team.
And in high school I went to, East Ridge, they're sitting nice at number 3 at 20-2. They're moved up 1 spot from the number 4 spot we had them in, so they're playing good ball, and hopefully they continue to play ball like this.
I agree. And number 4, another team that dominates. As a matter of fact, another school that dominates in literally every sport that they play, Apopka. Now, not only are they almost in the breaking the top 15 on our baseball rankings, but they're in the top 3, top 5 in our softball rankings as well, which is pretty amazing.
We previously had them at number 2, so they've fallen a little bit, but they're still right there battling for those top spots.
Exactly, yeah.
As we keep going down, we've got teams like number 6, Dr. Phillips. They're a powerhouse in almost every sport, and they've been very strong and very powerful in softball as well.
Yeah, I mean, you can't count them out. Pretty much they can win districts, they can win championships. It's a school, like as you were saying, they're a powerhouse in every sport, Back in the day, I remember, I had a couple friends that played volleyball there, and they won state champs, and even in baseball as well. So it doesn't matter what sport they play, their programs are always amazing.
And then we move down one more to Haggerty at 19-4, and they've won 8 straight. So there's a couple teams on this list who are they've had some large winning streaks and are currently on some pretty big winning streaks.
And if you notice, also some teams are reflecting the baseball teams as well. For example, like Haggerty. Haggerty is, a number 3 in our baseball rankings, and George Jenkins as well, which is almost right after Haggerty, which is on number 8. And both schools and each program, softball and baseball, are relatively familiar because it's a relatively, they can be compared together as sports. It's just the ball's bigger and it's played by ladies. Pretty much that's the only difference.
We move and we finish our list off at number 15. I'm sorry,
of
Lake
course.
Powell. They're just now moving into our top 15 rankings, and I haven't personally got to see them too much, but from what all our experts are telling us, that it's a great team. They haven't got the recognition earlier in the year, but now we're getting later on, and teams are really separating themselves from the pack, and Lake Powell is doing that.
Exactly, and I was just going to touch on that. And it's not like how you start the race, it's how you finish it. And Lake Powell has been a perfect example of that all season long. And as you can see, they broke the top 15 rankings, Like I said again for, Oakleaf, the sky's the limit for them. They've been playing well, and hopefully we'll see them rise up.
Keeping it in the same family, like you said, we go from softball to baseball, and there's a high school standout who is playing out of his mind, pitching absolutely fantastic. It's Levi Singler. He 62 and a third innings pitched. There was 46 hits off of him, 22 runs, which, if you pitch that many innings, you're going to have a lot of pitches.
22 runs, but only 6 are earned.
Yeah.
So that means that his defense wasn't playing behind him.
Yeah.
So, he had to do a lot of things by himself. Another thing is he also has 1 short of 100 strikeouts in 62.1 innings, which is crazy.
Yeah, those stats are you're gonna see him at the next level, the
collegiate
level.
Of course.
Pitching like that,
Of course.
Absolutely fantastic.
And this is based on his career in high school, of course. So, if you can pitch like this in 2-3 years of high school baseball, what's to say when you go to college baseball or a D1 or a JUCO? You're gonna dominate in the same competition because, personally, somebody like this that has these type of numbers to show and present, their work ethic, reflects it as well.
And, you get that collegiate training, the collegiate coaches, tweaking you, showing you different things. those 99 strikeouts in his first couple years of high school could be, 100 and something in his first couple years of college.
Yeah, he has the advantage, over a lot of kids right now, and the growth potential for him is, unlimited. It just depends on him.
Staying in baseball and touching on the segment we've been doing the last few days with local area pros, we look at the MLB. There is so much talent with baseball in Florida that we couldn't give you a list of all the players.
It's overlooked.
Yeah.
It's
so
overlooked.
We decided to just focus on people who have been all-stars.
Yeah.
And only high schools that have had multiple all-stars since 1995. So, it shortens the list a little bit, but it should still show you, the immense amount of talent that just the Central Florida area has in baseball with all these all-stars.
And I agree. And to start off, the first two, which is Tom Gordon, who played, also known as Flash Gordon, played for several teams in the major leagues, and his son, D. Gordon, who started off his career with the Los Angeles Dodgers as a shortstop, and then went off to Miami, and now recently signed with the Seattle Mariners to play center field. Cool thing about these two guys is that, I actually played in a travel team with D. Gordon and his younger brother, who just recently got drafted from Olympia, Nick Gordon. And, obviously I got benched, I was second string shortstop behind Nick Gordon, but, I learned so much not only from Tom Gordon, the father, but from both those kids as well, D and Nick. Their work ethic was literally out of this world. It was abnormal to see, and it stuck to you. And I personally say it stuck to me when I went on to college, because I wanted to be like them. They, wanted to get drafted first round out of high school, and congrats to them. That's a dream come true. But another person from my local area, which is Felipe Lopez, which, this guy was a monster in high school and a monster in his early seasons in baseball. Switch hitter, shortstop.
Spent some time with the Reds.
Exactly. Play with the Reds, play with the National. And I see this guy resembles a little, I resemble a little bit like him, because in high school, I switched hit and I played shortstop. So, our game was typically almost similar when we were in high school, steal bases and hit gappers.
And these are two guys from Lake Brantley with Felipe Lopez and Jason Varitek, guy from Boston Red Sox.
Yeah, I'm a big Boston fan. Jason Varitek was a captain of the Red Sox for a long time in coming. So, to have him coming from this area, knowing, that if he was this great, I can be as great as him. It's also an example, not to myself, but to all the kids and alumni and athletes that attend Lake Brantley High School.
We have from Brandon, Florida, Chone Figgins.
Yeah, Shone Figgins.
Chone Figgins?
Shone Figgins, man.
You seem to be quite a fan.
I mean, Shone Figgins was, he stopped playing ball last couple seasons, but he retired. He's been, this guy was a monster on the base paths. Like, he would literally get on base, he would blink, he would steal second base, next third base, and another switch hitter. And he was a utility man, he was a team player. He's like, if you needed him to play center field, he'll play center field. If you need him to play third, he'll play at any position. And, it was just a great example of athleticism.
At the professional
level. At the professional level, exactly.
A lot of times you see kids, high school, maybe even college, they'll play multiple positions. But, once you get to the pros, you're pretty much set in your spot. But he's that type of, elite athlete that comes around that can move all over the field and help your team in any way you need him.
Of course. And that's what I loved about him growing up and watching him play with the Los Angeles Angels. And it was just amazing.
Now, one of the bigger, more well-known schools in the area being Dr. Phillips. They've had guys in a couple sports go pro, and this may be, their biggest name, but Johnny Damon.
Johnny Damon.
Everyone knows him, played with Boston, played with New York. Some people don't like him because he's played for those two teams, but...
I mean, I'm a Boston fan, but, I forgive him. When he went to New York, I forgive him, but that's okay, money talks. And not only that, but Johnny Damon, he was a great player and a great person outside of the field. He still actually lives in Florida, here in Windermere, so, he's a nice guy, local guy, doesn't forget his roots. And, he's a great example to a lot of those kids. And actually, sometimes on and off, he does visit his alma mater, which is Dr. Phillips, from time to time, to instruct those kids and in remembrance of telling them, like, hey, look, I was here just like you and I made it big, and just work hard and dreams can happen too.
Same thing we say, it's about the local area guys, developing that talent, cultivating that talent, and, letting it grow. Hopefully go to the MLBs, get Division I scholarships. Or really the ultimate goal is just to go to college.
And giving back to the community, of course. You got to give back to the community.
Now, we could spend some more time talking about the guys. I want to skip down to talk about one of my favorite professional players. He gets up to the mound, and every time, not the mound, he gets up to the plate, but every time he steps up, it could possibly be a home run. You got Prince Fielder. He might be one of the bigger guys in the MLB, but there's so much power behind his swing.
Yeah, Prince Fielder, it's a mouthful to explain Prince Fielder. He's actually a pretty big guy. He slimmed down. He has some trouble with injuries over the past years. Right now he's with the Texas Rangers, but, he's battling injuries on and off the field. And, hopefully we'll see him again on the field. And when he does, it'll be a splash again.
He's an MVP caliber type player when he's healthy.
I agree, 100%.
We have Gary Sheffield,
Hall of Fame.
Huge Hall of Fame name. Everybody, well, I don't want to say everyone, but a lot of baseball fans and a lot of people who aren't baseball fans know this name, just because of what he's done on the field.
Yeah, man, this guy's a monster. 600 plus career home runs. One of the top 15 in home runs ever, and straight monster. Some guy that people, when they're gonna go pitch, they were scared to pitch him. And another guy that they were scared to pitch, which is on our bottom of the list from Plant or Tampa, Florida, is a Wade Boggs, another Hall of Famer third baseman. And
another guy that gave you both Red Sox and Yankee ties.
Yep, that's why I love him. That's why another Boston right there. So, Wade Boggs is just another example. Again, just like Johnny Damon, giving back to the community, knowing where he came from and not forgetting his roots. It's just a great example for athletes out there that make it to the pros. Just reminding them, hey, look, you're from here. Just don't let that get to your head and stay humble.
Definitely. And we go from baseball over to track, talk about some of the All-Americans around the country. We like to touch on, not just Florida sports, not just Central Florida, but all over the country. If you have the talent, we want to discover you, and we want to,
Of course, yeah, let us know.
Opportunity to show you out to everyone we can reach. We want to start with Anthony Schwartz. He is from American Heritage, one of the fastest people I've ever laid my eyes on. Will be attending college at Auburn next year to do track and football.
Wow, good for him.
As a senior, he does the 200 and 100, and this kid is a blur. He runs a 10.15 in the 100 and a 20.47 in the 200.
Yeah, this guy's Usain Shadow.
For people who don't honestly understand how fast that is, there's really no way to describe it to you other than, if you wanted to race him, he would probably be on the sideline untying his shoes by the time that you finish the finish line. He's that fast.
Wow.
He'll be, on a football field making people miss in the SEC. He's that type of speed where he'll be a difference maker at that level too.
Yeah, I definitely agree 100%.
Kalen Barnes from Texas, another extremely fast guy. I don't think he's as fast as Schwartz, but he runs a 10.22 in the 100 and a 10.54 in the 200. So he's literally right behind Schwartz,
but
with that
not
speed.
as fast.
But those are two guys who, any given night they'll compete for hopefully a national championship, and at the next level, they're both seniors, so the next level they'll hopefully compete for national championships on the indoor and outdoor track circuit.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. We move on down to the pole vault, probably the scariest event in my opinion. I don't know how you do it. Just going up and flipping over 19 feet 5 inches. I don't think I would have the stomach to be able to get over and climb over.
I didn't know you were scared of heights, Rob.
Yeah, that Armand Duplantis. Sorry if I butchered the name a little bit. From Lafayette, Louisiana. Right now has the record at 19.5 for 2018 for high school students. And,
yeah.
I don't know too much about pole vaulting and what the heights are, but from the other numbers that were on there, the closest people were like 18 feet, 17 feet. So they seem well and far above everybody else in this category.
Yeah, and another senior is one of the categories, so
definitely.
Make sure to check that out on the higher level college, maybe even Olympics.
Yeah, hopefully. We have Jaquan Hogan from Colorado, another senior, and I did the triple jump. Highest I got was 47 and something, which I thought was really good.
That's really good. I think so too.
Feet and 7 1/4 inches is almost Olympic level. That is, definitely collegiate national championship type level. So another senior that we'll see at the collegiate level next year.
And like you said, Olympic. It's Olympic level already, so definitely. Hopefully he makes the Olympic team in the years to come.
Last person on this list is Sean Lee from California. I also did this event. I like to do a lot of the jumping ones, and the highest I cleared was 6'8" on the high jump, and I thought I was doing something. Sean Lee has cleared this year alone 7'3". This is, Olympics are in that 7'5", 7'8" is what they're clearing in.
Yeah.
For a high school senior to be jumping 7'3" on the high jump.
It's an advantage over everybody.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. And again, everyone on this list are All-Americans for a reason, because they have that talent and the potential to win a national championship, not only at this level, but at the collegiate level, and the talent and hopefully the drive that they have to get to the Olympic level.
Of course.
Yeah. Well, we thank you for tuning in. As always, if you want to be featured on our show, send us in videos or highlights at myGSPN.com. For any athlete wanting to join us, do a student page at myGSPN.com. And the show is brought to you by GardenGrocer.com. Go online and place your order there. Thank you, and we'll see you tomorrow for more news and highlights.